You look at the East, and this is where the Pistons come in. The East is more wide open than I ever remember it in my entire life as a basketball fan. You look at the Celtics are going to be without Tatum. The Pacers are going to be without Halliburton. The Milwaukee Bucks are going to be without Dame Lillard, and who knows if they're going to keep Giannis. And then, furthermore, the Knicks fired their coach, and they haven't replaced him yet. And they might find out that life was actually, they had it their best under Thibodeau. You never know. The Magic,
and
obviously.
We called that one.
Yeah.
We said if they don't make it to the finals, watch them dip into the dysfunction team.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, the Magic, they struck, and the Pistons.
We didn't want to see the Magic strike. That was the team that we said. Think about all the stuff we teed up. We said that's the squad that can change their fortunes. Obviously, Atlanta can too, but you're seeing things dry up quick. And you know what I'm seeing in the chat? People are like, bro, pack it up and go home. Pistons are done. They're getting Nas Reed, and that's it. And is that enough? Can they really rest on their laurels that way? Now, to be fair and to be consistent, they have this year and they have next year to play ball. But when the East opens up as wide as it is right now, how do you just look at that and say, I'll pass till next year? How do you do that? I don't even understand that type of theory, and that's where it drives me to say, whether it's the star player or not, I think aggression needs to be the key word. You hear Scott Harris from the Tigers say, bro, we can win a World Series right now and long term. I'm stepping to the trade deadline aggressive. You want to be able to see if that window is available to you, that your team can go out there and do this. Because you know what I know about the Pistons? There was a lot of times this year they thought that they were on the same stage at the same level as those Indiana Pacers. And I know this, they're not conceding nothing to them. Those players aren't going to concede nothing. And there's only one team in the entire freaking league that I've seen Cade Cunningham get out of character with. They're mean fist balled up Cade Cunningham. I'm like, what is this energy? I love it. And that's, man, I want to see this team go and get aggressive. You're right there. You're right within striking distance, in my opinion. I do believe the Pacers and the Thunder, they deserve a whole lot of credit. And I'm not going to say just a whimsical move and the Pistons are just right there, because you saw a lot of players. How many times did you highlight 4, 5 players of the Pacers giving a huge boost to what this team was? The Pistons, when we're talking about aggression, that is, to me at the very least, needs to be the bare minimum for how they approach this offseason.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, when it comes to the Thunder and the Pacers, these were not homegrown teams to the extent that people think. SGA was acquired via a trade. Tyrese Halliburton was acquired via a trade. Pascal Siakam was acquired via a trade. I agree that this year, the Pistons have a golden opportunity in this offseason that if they do this right, if they make that move, could be as high as the 2 seed next year. I still have a lot of respect to Cleveland and their regular season dominance. I'm not saying they could get the 1 seed, but I'll tell you what, we've seen what Cleveland has done in the playoffs every single year in this new iteration of the team. The Pistons could win the East next year. They actually could. Wrap your heads around it, people. The Pistons could win the East next year, which is why this is a time for aggression. I agree with you 100%, because obviously KD was somebody that was talked about, but he's gone now. He's obviously with the Rockets. But there are a lot of names out there, and if you're Trajan Langdon, pick up the phone, make some calls. That's all you got to do. I'm not saying that if they don't make a big move, it's like, it's over, pack it up. Go ahead.
Less likely to do something because of the injuries. I thought the Pistons should have made a splash because I assumed Indiana was going to come back strong next year. I assumed New York was going to come back strong. I assumed Boston was going to come back strong. But they may not be. So what you can do, the reason I'm less likely to do something major is because I am really curious. Part of me is curious to see what this young group is going to turn into. And the top teams in the league are going to be handicapped. So you may be able to roll with what you've got rather than trying to elevate yourself to what you thought these teams were going to be. So I'm less likely to do something because of the injuries.
You know what, T-False? I'm telling you, though, like when I use the word legend, it's not about old. It's about wisdom, bro. Like, I learn a lot from you. We all learn a lot from you. And that's a perspective I haven't even stopped to even think about or even consider the fact that if the East is wide open, sometimes you want to press that gas pedal just a little bit more. But if it is wide open, do these young players possess the ability to take us a little bit of a step forward? We thought 4th seed already. That's what we believed. Is Ivey that deal? Ivey is a player that I believe in a lot. I really do. Not to the tunes of hopefully Ivey bro derangement syndrome, but I do believe in Jaden Ivey as a player. I just sometimes wonder, do they have the time to wait? Because they're going to have to make decisions either this offseason or next on both Jalen Duren and Jaden Ivey. And then the following offseason, guess what? You're following that right back up with Asar Thompson and Marcus Sasser. And then, guess what? Isaiah Stewart's contract comes due. And so that's where I'm just like, I want to be able to wait, but these guys are going to have to start getting paid. And it's like, how do you at least, because I know you've seen this, you've seen these championships being built. And you had the perspective. I remember you told me, you were like, you kind of had a different perspective, like already perspective of a championship built team with the Bad Boys when you saw the Going to Work Pistons being built and you thought this team has at least that identity. What are you seeing? Yeah, but
what I never saw was the opponent disintegrate. Halliburton, that's a major blow for Indiana. And Indiana, I mean, they probably won't have the guy for the whole year, at least 90% of it. So where are they at the end of the? Are they even in the playoffs? Probably, but
yes.
They might be a 6 or 7 seed or something. We don't know how that's going to go. We don't know how they're going to respond to. That's their leader. That's their guy.
Let's get a poll going in the chat if we can right now. I'm seeing some people, someone, Trajan, to pick up the phone, and some people are feeling, like you and I, Flannel, we're saying, hey, let's go be aggressive. There are some in the chat who do believe in the young players here. I want to kind of understand where our chat family is as well. Because for me, I continue to sit conflicted, though you guys have also heard me say, if you can go out there and make something happen and get a star without gutting your young talent, I would do that today and twice on Sunday. The issue is with the Kevin Durant trade, you're seeing that now the price is going to be sky high to be able to be aggressive. I do believe that this does present an opportunity with at least what you provided, Terry Foster, with your perspective, an opportunity for them to be able to make marginal changes. But is that enough for this team in the long term, both this year and next year? And I know that they get Tobias Harris. He becomes an expiring contract now. But I still believe this team needs to be aggressive. Even with the wide open East and their roster probably taking a boost just because of that, I'm still on the side of aggression.
Well, there's two types of wide open. There's one wide open where, man, there's a bunch of teams that are really good and anybody could win it. Then there's wide open where, well, it's not that good and anybody could win it. So I would think the East is going to be in the second tier. The Pistons, from what I've seen over the years, they are young, still a little bit stupid, but they're maturing. And so that group could turn into an OKC. But now you need to ask some questions. Can Cade Cunningham be a guy where if you need 8 points in the last 2 minutes of a game, you're going to get that from him? Is Ivey a guy that during the playoffs, is he going to hit 35, 36% from 3, or is he going to start bricking stuff? So those are questions you need to ask. You need to look ahead and make those decisions before you make a deal. Because the deal is going to, it's going to take some key players out.
Yeah, because I see people in the chat here. Kenneth Matthews, he says, go get Portis and Reed. He wants them both. Nas, Reed, and Portis will probably cost you somewhere between modestly $45 million a year. Modestly combined. That's just the modest. They're saying Nas can get upwards of 30 and Portis can get upwards of 25 a year. This is where Trajan Langdon last offseason proved that he could go and find these value picks in free agency, which were a boom for the Detroit Pistons. We saw it, these vets from Tobias, who we also know Weaver would have gone after too, but then you look at Tim Hardaway, you look at the deal for Malik Beasley, then you look at them going out there and getting Dennis Schroeder. They've shown some savviness to be able to make some minor moves and to have major impact on the squad. But I'm still a little bit squeamish because when you got to the playoffs, you started to realize there was still a different level between what the Knicks had, what the Pacers have, what these other playoff teams have, and what we have. That's where I'm just like, you know what? At the very least, since we now know that this KD trade has shown us that the Pistons would have to mortgage their now and their future for an opportunity to take advantage of us, or to have a star on this team. Now is where I'm looking at things like, is this reality where you get one of Portis or Reed, and you're taking a swing at a young, high potential type guy in the Santi Aldama?
I don't know if that would be enough.
That's what I'm saying.
At the end of I'll tell you what though, if Ivy is as good as like Wheezy D and Stick think that he is, then maybe that will be enough. And I'm not even trying to be that person that's trying to just like denigrate Ivy. It's just I'm at the point now where I'll just be honest, the fans have kind of ruined him for me. I would like to get back onto the Ivy train, but that's just a personal thing. How?
I'm still on the Ivy train. Definitely on the Ivy train. I do believe that he can take that step to be a consistent 18-5-5 player next season, with the next archetype, that next step up, being a consistent 25-5 player. I really do. I believe that his scoring ability mixed with his athleticism, his speed, and we see the IQ is getting better for him before he got injured. That to me is why I believe in what he could be as a player moving forward. And it makes me a little bit bullish. I don't want to overvalue him or overstate what he can be, but I do believe he could take some very modest steps forward over the next few years to become a consistent 25-5 guy.
I'm not saying he can't, and will he be? I'll respond to you, because you asked how when it comes to that the fans have kind of ruined Ivy for me, and I'm not talking about regular good Piston fans who appreciate Ivy for what he is. I'm talking about the Ivy bros, the Cade hating Ivy bros, the people who were talking about Cade should be traded, the people who are just consistently saying, man, if Ivy were there the whole season, they would have been this. If Ivy were there in the playoffs, the Pistons sure would have won, while completely discounting the fact that when Ivy was in the lineup this year, they were under 500.